Welcome to Cardinals Cover 2 with Craig Grialou and Mike Jurecki. Cardinals Cover 2 is brought to you by Arizona Cardinals Podcasts. Visit azcardinals.com/podcasts. From the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center, here's Craig Grialou and Mike Jurecki.
So did you happen to catch the front page this morning, MJ, of ESPN.com? This was probably before 10 o'clock, so I don't know how long it was up. But it was above the fold.
Did not see it.
Picture of Cardinals rookie quarterback Kyler Murray. The headline, early reports on all 32 first-round draft picks. But when you have the number one overall pick, you are going to be front and center. So we all have to better get used to it, and we are, but it's just funny. It's all about number one.
Yeah, I was surprised, just we always look for traits in certain players, and, I've used the Mike Vick, and I can see people using Russell Wilson because of size, even though I think him and Mayfield are a little bit thicker. Boy, did it create a firestorm when they started comparing him to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, but the problem with that, and it was a question that I believe Paul Calvisi asked on the Kingsbury Chronicle podcast to Coach about the comparison on the arm angles and the arm slots.
Thank you.
Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray, the baseball comparison, and then it just kind of morphed into, he's the next MVP of the league and is going to take the NFL by storm. No. Figure out the context of what was said and what was asked.
Details.
And then, exactly, details.
No, I mean, I think you can make the case for Russell Wilson. All three of those guys I mentioned all played baseball at some point. We know Russell Wilson goes to different spring trainings. I know it's not the same. But, yeah, I mean, you look at Mahomes, 6'3", 220. I mean, obviously the sidearm angles and the fact that they both can throw on the run, extend plays with their legs, I get it. But I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit. Plus, let's go back. Mahomes only started one game.
Correct.
Week 17 when they locked up a playoff position and they decided to trade Alex Smith. And they have a really good offensive line when Kareem Hunt was there. They got some, obviously Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, Conley, Sammy Watkins. So they have a lot of talent around him, but I think we just need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Let's hope that's the future.
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
Kyler
But I do see some traits when it comes to the sidearm and the ability to escape the pocket and throw on the run.
Absolutely. All right, let's take off here on this Monday, let you know what's ahead on the show. And Patrick Peterson, yes, he was here at the facility today and on the field. We'll get into that, but we hear why he's excited about the defense under Vance Joseph. We take you behind the scenes with a pair of rookie receivers, Andy Isabella and Keyshawn Johnson. We'll be joined by Budda Baker, who breaks some news here on Cards Cover 2. And, of course, your questions via social media using the hashtag CardsCover2. Hashtag CardsCover2 using the number 2 to get involved in the show. We do that a little bit later on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here from the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center. But first things first, the news of the day, and that's right, number 21 was seen and heard from today. OTA number 7 for those that are keeping track. This is the third and final week of organized team activities. Next week, mandatory minicamp, and that's when a lot of us, MJ, believed that we would see Peterson when it was mandatory. Instead, he was here today.
Feels good to be back around my teammates, the supporting cast here in this locker room. Got a little sweat in today, got a little lather up today, so it was a good run. I'm definitely looking forward for many more great practices. Got my first pick today too, so that was a welcome back gift.
Who'd you get the pick on?
K1.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he gift wrapped it for me.
Why today? What was today? What was special about coming back today?
Nothing. I'm baby girl's in summer school now, so I had to take care of some family issues at home. Now that she's in summer school, she's in dance camp now, trying to form the next gymnastic, so the next great one at least. She keeps me on my toes, so just had to take care of some family stuff at home, and now I'm happy to be back with my boys. Looking forward to building those stones to get where we want to be at the end of the year, and that's playoffs.
A little bit later when he was talking with the media, he did mention that this was always the plan to report and show up this week. He'll be here all week long, and he'll be here next week. And let's be honest, it is voluntary, and I get it. when you've been around a long time, some guys will choose to work out on their own. But it was good to see him back on the field, and it did kind of amp things up a little bit during those 20 minutes that we were able to watch. There was a little bit more chatter and a little bit more excitement level, especially on the defensive side.
Yeah, and if you're a guy like Byron Murphy, having Patrick here just as a sponge, you're hearing good things about Chris Jones. You're hearing good things about David Amerson. So, it's interesting because Brian Flores in Miami, he's got a corner safety, Rashid Jones, and he's been missing practice, and he said he's going to have to earn a spot. So, in other words, he's buried on the depth chart. They're trying to trade him. He's got a huge cap number, and here Patrick Peterson walks in, and he's the starter. And you could just watch him from the side. I mean, you just see the skill set, and clearly they're going to miss the guy. But I'm glad he's here, and I anticipate they'll have a 100% participation next week when we get to the mandatory minicamp. I think they can find him like 14,000 the first day, maybe 30,000 the second day, and then it goes up to 40,000, so about 80,000. And usually the guys that don't show up there in contract issues, and usually teams waive those fines. But I between Suggs and Fitz and Patrick, they're going to be here next week.
Absolutely. And according to head coach Cliff Kingsbury, Peterson brought, quote, good juice, unquote, to practice. And then, as we heard, Peterson mentioned he intercepted Kyler Murray. So, obviously, and then the head coach speaks, we had to ask Kingsbury about the interception.
Yeah, we had to welcome him back. So we wanted to make him feel welcome. But no, it was, like I said, anytime you have a guy that's done what he's done and have him out there, it makes you better.
It won't be the last time. It certainly was the first time, but it won't be the last time that Murray gets picked off by Peterson in practice or OTAs or minicamp or training camp. It's going to happen. Ask all the quarterbacks that Peterson has played against here with the Cardinals. It happens, but it is part of that learning process. Okay, what windows can I throw to? And when you have a cornerback like Patrick Peterson, you know that those windows are much, much smaller.
Yeah, and you can jump the route, and it's a learning curve, and I'm sure they're going to go back and forth. I mean, Murray's up for the challenge. We know Patrick is, and Cliff did maintain that he's been in conversation with Patrick. They knew he was showing up today. I think we were all surprised just because it is voluntary, and he's maintained that he he was away for the first couple of weeks, but it was good to see him. But I agree, he did bring the juice today, and again, it's hard to replace all-pro players like him. And I just hope some of these other young guys are willing to just learn from him and the way he acts, on and off the field. So it can go a long way if you're one of these young guys in your future.
His teammates, specifically his defensive teammates like Robert Alford, glad to have Peterson on the field today.
It was real big. Pat is a close friend of mine, and for him to be out there with me and doing the things with me, and even on the sideline, we talking and saying what we see. I feel like it's real big. He's been a Pro Bowl cornerback, and that's something that I haven't got yet. So I feel like he can help me out a lot this year.
There's learning to be done not only for those offensive players that Peterson could help out in regards to Murray and the wide receivers, but even those guys in the secondary, as you just heard Alford say. And we talked about it. This is voluntary. Guys miss OTAs, and that's fine if you've established yourself, and Peterson obviously has. Is it a big deal that he hasn't been here? I think so. Other people disagree. But the bottom line is he was here, and now it's making the most of his time while he's here, because those first 6 games, that's a huge hole on one side of the field that they're not going to have on defense.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, and I'm curious to see how much they play these young guys, because we need to see more from Chris Jones and David Amerson and, even Dietrich Nichols. And you start looking at, Robert Alford. Everything I hear is he's everything they thought when they signed him to a 3-year contract. And I think Patrick will be part coach, even though they, have Greg Williams and Marcus Robertson as their secondary coaches. I do think anytime a guy comes to the sidelines, he can help them. So I don't know how much he's going to play in the preseason. I don't think we need to see it. You got to get these other guys ready for the opener against the Lions.
Absolutely, but at the same time, you need to make sure that Peterson gets his reps within this defense, and then just reps to get into game shape before you maybe lose a lot during that month and a half that you're on the sidelines. And Kingsbury was asked about that today as far as how do you balance reps with Peterson versus those other players, and it's going to be a balancing act, and I don't know what the right answer is. Remember Tom Brady, when he missed those first 4 games, he played, and he played preseason game, 4th game.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if we'll see Peterson in that 4th game. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't be surprised either way. And I know you don't want someone to get hurt. You get hurt no matter what. I mean, that you don't want to protect yourself from that. But I don't know how you figure that out as far as the reps, and then figuring out, okay, Alford gets reps, Amerson gets reps, Dietrich Nichols, Byron Murphy, all these guys that you're going to be asked to perform maybe a little bit more because you're not going to have 21 on the field.
Yeah, when we look at that fourth preseason game, usually it's against the Broncos, and it's going to be the same case this year. I'm not playing Patrick Peterson in that game.
I would lean towards not, but at the same time, I could understand why you would, though.
And he may go to the coach and say, I want some reps. But we know that the Broncos aren't going to play Joe Flacco.
Well, and that's the other point of this. Exactly how much are you gaining from playing him, because who is he playing against? And the only reason you do it is to, you go through pregame warm-ups, and everybody does that, but then get into the game where it's one series or whatever, just to kind of get the heart rate moving and get some physical reps, even some mental reps as well. But you're right. I mean, you're not going to learn anything going up against some fourth, fifth string wide receiver.
Yeah, and for Patrick, I mean, you got to assume he's going to keep himself in shape. But, there's a thing called football shape. So I'm sure he's going to be working out. I'm sure he's going to be watching the games. And obviously, you're looking at the film that we all can acquire if you have the Game Pass. But there's going to be an adjustment when he comes back, because he's going to go from being suspended for 6 games to an instant starter, and likely going to lock up with one of those top receivers, because it sounds like they want him to cover that number one receiver, whether they play sides or man-to-man press coverage across the board.
Yeah, a lot of it's going to be on him to work on his own during that time when he is away from the facility. Now, this will be his 9th season in the league, and some guys, when you get to this stage in your career, you choose to work out on your own during the offseason, and it's, again, voluntary. But Peterson did say today he felt it was important for him to show up this week.
You can always get better, no matter where you are in your career. So I think these are some definitely valuable moments, in spring football, to get to build that camaraderie and build that trust in one another, to be able to now, once camp roll around, now you're not filling guys in. Everybody know what to expect. Everybody know the pace of practice. Everybody know how each other plays. And now when we get into summer camp, now it's all about building that trust and building that confidence to know when we step out on that field, we can lock up anybody. And not only lock up anybody, put points up on anybody as well. So I think this is a very, very valuable period, especially for us having a new coach. As always, coach changes throughout the years. And I think it's teams in the NFL, we definitely need this period. So, vets, younger guys, I think this is a very, very valuable learning period for everybody.
Yeah, and again, for Patrick Peterson, to me, it's just, I just think he's going to be a coach in training camp. And like I said, it's going to be difficult to try to replace him, but they're going to have to hold their water, because we talked about this defense carrying their water at least for the first half of the season, or the first quarter of the season, meaning you got 3 out of their first 4 games at home. And so got to scratch some wins out at home, and then you got to pull off some upsets on the road. But he's going to be a big part of that when he comes back in Week 7.
Well, you heard Peterson mention new coach, and not just a new head coach, but new defensive coordinator in Vance Joseph. Peterson asked about what he's seen so far and what he's being asked to do with Joseph on that side of the ball.
Aggressive, very aggressive. Going to have me doing some things that I like to do, putting my hands on receivers, getting in receiver faces. And I think when you have guys that can do that at a high level, and adding Chandler and Sizzle, Brooks, Hassan's going to be blitzing a little bit with the fast linebackers that we have inside. I think it's going to give us an opportunity to be able to definitely play fast and take the ball away from offenses for sure.
And play like they had before 2018.
Yeah, and I'm always, interested when guys say there are ways to get better. We're talking about a guy that's been to 8 Pro Bowls, right?
Correct.
He's, obviously his first year was more for special teams, but, I always heard that you get better today, and you're like, yeah, I think we all should apply that in our life every single day. You're trying to get better than the next day, But I like the fact that he feels like, I need to be here. And, I don't know if he's going to be a captain, probably not, just because you're going to miss the first 6 games, but I think they're looking forward to him just being that shutdown corner, and we can put all the, the rumors about trades and contract Put it to bed. He's under contract 2 more years.
Well, it's learning the defense, the terminology, where you line up, where your teammate next to you, behind you, in front of you lines up, and that maybe that nonverbal communication as well. Last week we heard Hassan Reddick talk about he and Jordan Hicks communicating, and it almost seems like they've been together for 2 or 3 seasons, and it's only been a couple of months, and that is what this is meant for, or you hope to gain during this period. It's not so much, how you look. You're not running full speed. You're not in pads, so you're not learning a whole bunch, but it is some of the smaller things that you hope can grow or be stacked upon one another to where, okay, you get to the regular season, okay, I remember this was brought up in the meeting room in March or April or May, whatever it was, and then all of a sudden, okay, something registers, let's do it this way.
Yeah, and I know that we're all excited about them going back to a 3-4. Now, obviously, Vance Joseph has a lot of experience there when he was with the Dolphins and the Chargers, obviously a head coach last year in Denver, which he had his hand in the pile when it came to their defense. But I just like the staff, and to me, I've learned over the years you don't want to put too much into off-season workouts. You see guys, and they're not even in full pads. I think when you put the pads on, guys start to separate themselves. But coaching and teaching-wise, you could see that that's happening on the field daily.
Oh, and the players have mentioned that specifically about this staff on how much they're getting taught. Chandler Jones brought it up earlier today as far as not only from Vance Joseph, but the position coaches on being hands-on, and then also the why we're doing this, explaining why this way versus maybe a way that you used to do it, because we feel this way, what we're teaching you is much better and allows you to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, we focused so much on last year not being able to stop the run. One thing that during the open portion of practice, we're seeing the DBs and linebackers use these tackling dummies, because that's technique, that's coaching, that's teaching right there. So they got to become a better tackling team in the open field, but obviously you got to stop the run and then try to get that quarterback off his spot.
And you hope that this defense is improved just because of the additions that they made. DJ Swearinger, late last season, claimed off waivers, did not play. And then, of course, this offseason, a number of new faces, including Terrell Suggs, but specifically with Swearinger and Suggs, guys not afraid to speak their minds, kind of bring it on the field, and that swag that we talk about. Peterson brought that up as well, talking about Swearinger and Suggs.
It's great to have DJ back. Obviously, I played with him a couple years, getting him late 3 years ago, and obviously had a big year and went over to Washington. But having him now, he understands the culture here. He understands. He was on that team that, was 1 game away. So he understands what it takes to get there. Having Sizzle here, the history for his career speaks for itself. A great man, great locker room guy, great leader, and also a competitor. And I think adding another alpha dog like himself is definitely going to put us over the top.
Now, Suggs was not here at OTAs and hasn't been since OTAs began. He has been around, but just not during this phase of the offseason strength and conditioning program. Fitzgerald was not here as well, although he has been present more times than not. Suggs, even though he has been around the team but not been around during this phase, it certainly brought some people asking why not, or even better, what's he missing by not being here? Kingsbury said not too much.
He's Hall of Fame talent. He's been in every kind of defense imaginable, and we know what he is and what he brings, and we've been in constant communication with Sizzle, so we feel good about where he's at.
And this is where you have a veteran, 16 years in the NFL. You know what you're going to get from him. Would you like him to be here? Absolutely. At the same time, I think he's earned the right, but it is a new coach, new system. But if that communication is taking place, maybe he doesn't need to be here. Maybe I don't. Put it this way: when he is here, he will be successful.
Oh, no, there's no doubt. And to me, I mean, whether he's in a 4-3, 3-4, I mean, there's the quarterback. Go hit him. That's the idea for him. And I anticipate you brought up the numbers when they signed him, 72% last year with the Ravens defense, and. I think it was last Friday, Steve Bisciotti said, we thought we were going to get Suggs back. And he said, once we figured out Arizona, we thought we were going to bring him back here. And he said, I wish him luck. Obviously, they play him in week 2. So, listen, he's got enough skins on the wall. Pop in the film. He's still productive, and he's going to be one of those dogs we've talked about. You don't want to have too many. You don't want to have too many mouthpieces. But I think if you can have one at every position, D-line, you look at, linebacker, And then you look at safety, and I think DJ Swearinger is definitely going to fill that role.
Where would you put that if there is one in that defensive line room? Maybe, I mean, I don't know personally, but maybe a Darius Philon, because Corey Peters is not that guy.
No.
Rodney Gunter is not that guy.
No, I would go Philon. You could see he's already connected with his teammates. We're looking forward to talking to him later in the week, along with A.Q. Shipley, who are both competing. It looks like Philon's a starter. Shipley is getting reps with the first team, along with Mason Cole. So, yeah, I think Darius Philon, his personality, I'm curious to talk to him about when you go to a new team and people are aware of your numbers, and we've talked about when they signed him how his snap count went up every single year. I talked to Anthony Lynn at Bruce Arians' golf tournament, and he said we wanted to keep him. Unfortunately, we just couldn't pay everyone. So I think Philon is really fit in well with that locker room.
All right, we can't have an OTA discussion without some Kyler Murray talk. And, yeah, he was intercepted by Patrick Peterson, but Murray is certainly impressing his teammates on the defensive side of the ball. And what is it saying? If you want to know how the offense is going, well, you ask the defense. And Chandler Jones was asked for his assessment, specifically the athleticism of the rookie quarterback.
It's incredible. And for his age and for him to be a rookie, he's very composed. He's very mature. He makes the ball. He throws perfect passes, and I'm excited to see him for sure out there on Sundays.
What do you think that's going to mean for opposing pass rushers, for Cardinals opponents when they want to go after him and blitz him?
Well, I'll speak from my perspective. You hate going against quarterbacks like that, honestly, because when you go against someone like Kyler, it's two different challenges you have to go after. First, you have to beat the guy in front of you, and then now you have to worry about getting him down. And he's really fast, probably the fastest guy out there in the field. So,
I'll say this: Russell Wilson comes to mind. Yet, not only of the Cardinals, but overall, Chandler Jones has had very good success at bringing down Wilson. But I understand his point, because it is two obstacles, not just one. It's the guy in front of you. And then, okay, where is that quarterback? Where is Murray? Where is Wilson? Because you're scrambling and you think you've beaten your guy, and then all of a sudden, like, now the quarterback's way over there.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about Sean Kugler, the new offensive line coach. They're going with veteran guys. Hopefully, guys can stay healthy. But I think we're going to find out they're going to get rid of this ball quickly, and that's going to force a lot of teams to either put a spy on him. Maybe they bring extra pressure, because if you're 6 guys on the line, they bring 7. Well, that's going to open things up in the secondary. So, yeah, you could see the dual threat when you look at Murray in the open portion. Then you talk to players after practice. Not only is the offensive players seeing it, defensive players are seeing it.
I'm glad you brought up the tempo, because not only is the offense picking up the pace, well, the defense, because you're practicing against it, has to do it as well. And so far, so good regarding how the team has handled that, according to Kingsbury.
Guys are getting used to the way we do things, offensively, defensively, and special teams. And so I think, going into our last full week, it's been a good process.
Still to come here on this Monday edition of Cards Cover 2 as we come to you from the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center. We've got our exclusive conversation with safety Budda Baker, and, of course, your questions via social media using the hashtag CardsCover2. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But before that, how about we take you behind the scenes? The cameras were rolling as azcardinals.com caught up with receivers Andy Isabella and Keyshawn Johnson at the Rookie Hotel and the latest episode of Cardinals Flight Plan.
We're at the hotel for the next couple of weeks. I'm Keyshawn.
I'm Andy Isabella.
Everything has been good. We haven't had any disagreements. We just been living the dream, and so far everything's been going good. So that's how we're trying to keep it.
Let's go. Definitely probably the coolest roommate I have. We both just kind of chill, laid-back guys and do our own thing, and we take care of business. And we're both driven, I think, and we both want to make this team and help this team as well.
I give Andy a 10. We're both guys that have both want to have our own space, but here and there we conversate and help each other.
Yeah, we're both kind of living out our dreams and just being in that same atmosphere and going through the same grind each day and working hard. I think we keep each other motivated and keep each other on our toes and keep working hard and try to push each other each and every day to get better. A typical day for me and Keyshawn is we're waking up at 6 a.m., making sure we're downstairs, getting on the shuttle at 6:30, get over to the facilities, eat breakfast, then we got meetings, and then we got practice, and then we got lunch, and then we got workout, and then we got more meetings, then we got a walkthrough, and then we got developmental meetings. The next day we have a whole new install that we have to learn, and basically if we're not studying it at night, then we're gonna be behind tomorrow, we might mess it up. So when we come back to the room, we still have to be focused and still study the plays to make sure we got the plays for tomorrow so we're not messing up in walkthrough. And we got the Normatex in here, the Theraguns, so we got recovery stuff in here too for a long day of recovery. But yeah, definitely you have to always be immersed.
In college, it was your job, but at the same time, you had school to deal with. So now this is just all 100% into football. And I feel like that's been the welcome to the NFL part, just, make sure you stay on your playbook, learning things faster at a higher pace. Answer. Hello? Okay, yeah, so I'm coming. All right. It's Kyler.
For real?
He's waiting downstairs. I feel like the things we came here to be, all be successful, and by coming in and pushing each other every day to the highest standard, I feel like that's going to do nothing but help our team and help us be successful as individuals at the end of the day. 4 of us, Kyler Murray and 3 receivers coming in together, the only thing we can do is grow from here and make each other better.
We're living our dream. I mean, I think both of us knew coming in it was going to be a grind, and you can't really take anything for granted. It doesn't matter where you were drafted at or really where you came from. We're all in the building now, and we're all competing, hopefully to get some playing time and be an impact for this team.
We lived our life and played football to get to this moment, and so this is what we're here for, and I feel like we're both dedicated to the grind.
We're waking up at 6 a.m., and then we come back here, it's already like 7 o'clock at night. Basically, by the time you're done packing and you shower and stuff, time to go to bed and wake up and do it all over again.
Love the all access that Cardinals Flight Plan brings you, and the next episode debuts June 13th, episode 8, titled Summer School. Of course, you can catch up on past episodes by going to azcardinals.com/flight plan. But that rookie hotel is basically where they are at if they are not here at the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center.
Yeah, and, I was talking to Jerry Sullivan recently. That he's assistant coach helping the wide receivers out. Hopefully, he can stay a little bit longer, but probably when training camp and the preseason end, maybe his wife's calling saying, it's time for you to come home again. You're 70 years old and you recently retired. But he told me that, we focus so much on Isabella where he's drafted, the size of Akeem Butler, but he thinks Keyshawn Johnson could be the bright spot or maybe the sleeper based just on his route running alone.
And that's something that Kime brought up as well, calling it, seamless and just the natural route runner. That was the description that he used to describe Keyshawn Johnson. What are you laughing at?
Look who's back there.
Well, I can't see. It's like at the mirror. Seriously, I can't see.
Adrian Wilson.
Oh, hey. Do we have an appearance of Adrian Wilson here on Cards Cover too?
I think we still got to get permission, but he's more than welcome to come in here. I mean, we have an extra mic. The guy's got the pipes. We have the Bose headphones.
Actually, according to my script here, we don't have time for him today.
Wow. You got to make time for A-Dub. Wow, look at that. A-Dub, you can find us here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 3. You're more than welcome to join us anytime.
And the door's unlocked, so Phil, anytime you want. Of course, then what would we talk about?
Oh, there's so many things we could talk about.
What do you tell us?
Guys, appreciate it.
Oh, hey, the voice
Monday,
of Adrian
Wednesday
Wilson.
Monday, Wednesday,
Friday.
Yes.
Okay. We can have a segment for you.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll ask the people that control me and control the power.
You got it. Fair enough. We'll let him do the dirty work.
Once a week segment, twice a week, 3 times a week.
Hey, I'm not going to push it. I'll just take one segment.
Wisdom from Wilson? Is that no?
Oh, I like that.
Wilson's wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not a very happy camper right now because of his Lakers. They're in disarray.
Why is he a Lakers fan? He's been here how many years?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare talk about my Lakers.
See?
I feel pretty safe because we're on the air right now.
Yeah,
there's nothing going to do anything.
There's a door there.
Exactly.
But it's not locked.
The show's over.
It's open.
That's true.
All right, thanks for interrupting the show, or at least participating in the show.
He is always welcome.
He's the best.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
That's a little highlight here on a Monday. Very well done. Appreciate that. All right, back to the show.
Well, what you guys didn't see there for about maybe 2 minutes before that, he was outside looking through the window, and I could see his reflection. So I turned around and I waved him in. So.
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, every now and again.
I mean, he's got a carte blanche around here, right?
And again, as we way off topic here, but you never know who's going to stop by because let's go back to the off season, January.
We were on the air.
Cliff Kingsbury walks in, just fresh off the helicopter landing from New York.
Yeah, and then Mr. Bidwell told Jimmy, you didn't see him today.
But we take partial credit, small percentage. Because he heard us and said, you know what, I want to be part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
that didn't
next
happen.
year. Maybe next year we'll. But we get a chance to talk to him when media availability is. So, hey, he's got a lot of work to do here.
Oh, absolutely. They all do.
Yeah, that's true.
And everyone is putting in the work. And we are, too, here on this Monday edition of Cards Cover 2 as we come to you from the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center, broadcasting in our Bose QC35s. Go to Bose.com for more information. A reminder, if you ever miss a show, and this goes for everyone out there, Adrian Wilson, you can download it as a podcast via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play Music, TuneIn, and SoundCloud. And don't forget, all of your favorite Cardinals podcasts can be found at azcardinals.com/podcasts. Got to make sure A-Dub is paying attention because every now and then his name gets dropped.
Yeah. I mean, I can't find him now. He's got a new office.
Yeah, it's a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. By the way, the Cardinals, including Adrian Wilson, do a great job in the community. Their work is second to none, and now they're asking for you to get involved as well. In honor of the 100th season of NFL football, the NFL is inviting fans to join the Cardinals players, and the other teams in a volunteer initiative called Huddle for 100. The goal of the campaign is for NFL fans to donate 100 million minutes of time to help shape what our communities will look like for the next 100 years. Those fans that do donate will be entered for a chance to win a VIP experience at the Super Bowl in Miami and other great prizes. For more information, go to azcardinals.com/Cardinals Huddle for 100. 2 seasons now into his NFL career, and safety Budda Baker is considered a veteran. Hard to believe, but yes, that is the case, especially in the National Football League. Big things expected out of Baker this season. We talked to him about that late last week, but before that, our conversation began with a uniform change. Well, I guess first things first, we got to talk about the new look. We don't see it out here, but now wearing 32, and it's a number that you're more familiar with than Cardinal fans are. So take us back to why the switch, and then perhaps maybe the negotiation that needed to take place, because I know Swearinger wanted 36.
Yeah. So, I've had 32 my whole life, ever since Little League. I had it, high school, college, and then, going into the first year, you got Tyron here, and so he has 32, so I'm definitely not going to ask for it. So I was drafted number 36 in the second round, so they said 36 was open, so I got 36. Then, second year went by, kept 36 just because, that maybe it was a new journey for me. And then we got Swearinger the end of last year, and he was always trying to ask me if he can get 36, and just kept going. He knew I had 32 my whole life too, so he was like, don't you want to go back to your old roots and all that type of stuff. So ultimately, we made a deal, and now I'm 32.
It's funny how numbers mean such a big deal for certain guys, especially Swearinger. He was very vocal about it, but for you, now kind of going back to normal on the field as well. What do you think this change for you personally is going to mean now as you enter 2019?
Yeah, for me, I'm very excited. Going back to my regular position, first 2 years I've been in the box a lot, especially last year. Still have 0 interceptions, so hopefully I can get some picks this year playing my normal position.
What's it like for you to get guys lined up now? And I think you're going to be more of a leadership role. I know Swearinger could be the captain, but you're right there. You've been here. Obviously, you've gone through some coaches. But what's it like angle-wise?
Yeah. For me, I try to learn everybody's job, try to learn the linebackers, of course, the DBs and the D-line as well. So if I see something, I can yell out because, I'm the last line of defense. So I try to do everything I can pre-snap, and then during the snap, just try to eliminate the offense. So
I think you're going to get a few interceptions this year, but you did get a touchdown last year.
Yeah, I did. I got a couple of scoop fumbles, couple forced fumbles and all. Got a lot of tackles, but I'm trying to go for those INTs this year.
Are you going to be asked to do anything more or different, at least the first 6 games, because Patrick Peterson's not going to be out there?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We haven't really got into any of that type of scheme yet. We're just going over the foundation of our defense, and we're not changing anything right now, so I don't know yet.
Well, one of those guys that the Cardinals are counting on that secondary is someone you're familiar with, going back to Washington, and another Husky on this roster, and Byron Murphy, of course, a local kid as well from Arizona. Can you tell us that maybe fans don't know about Murphy?
Murphy, he's really smart. You see it out here on the field. He's definitely going through, rookie pains, but he's very smart. He got thrown into the fire a few times, and he's held his own. So he's very smart. Of course, he has one of the best ball skills I've ever seen. I seen that in college. The way he catches the football, it's like a receiver. So that's probably something they don't know.
Now, when you start looking at some of the other corners, I don't think David Amerson's getting enough credit. The guy started 61 games. I like long, lean corner, 6'1", and then Tremont Brock came in as a nickel guy. Obviously, he's got experience. When you start looking at that position, and we know Brandon Williams is starting to cut his teeth more on special teams and Dietrich Nichols, but obviously you're not going to replace an all-pro player in Patrick Peterson, but looking at the numbers and size there, I think you guys are going to be okay, at least initially.
Yeah, I think definitely, like you said, nobody can replace Patrick Peterson. He's probably the best corner in this league. But then again, like you said, David Amerson, he's played a lot of football. Tremaine Brock, I think he's going on his bazillionth year of in the league, and those guys are real good as well. So I'm excited to see how this all folds.
What does it mean to have a pass rush? We know last year, obviously, you guys had a tough time getting off the field, couldn't stop the run, going back to a 3-4, which fits your personnel. Yeah. Getting that pass rush, and the idea that I get from Vance is, hey, take that quarterback off his spot. I like sacks, but I like hurries, pressures, and knockdowns. They lead to turnovers. What does that pass rush mean for you guys in the secondary? Yeah, that pass rush means, the quarterback's going to be uncomfortable. He's going to make, throws that he doesn't want to make, and hopefully that can lead into interceptions. As a DB, PBUs are cool, but we're trying to get interceptions. We're trying to score, we're trying to help our offense, and we're trying to get the ball back to our offense. So we're very excited this year for hopefully this pass rush to come. For our viewers out there, I don't know if they're familiar with Jimmy Lake and the Cardinals. I always tell people he's not recruiting guys that he doesn't think can play at the next level. What has he meant to that program? What has he meant to you guys that are in the NFL?
Yeah, man, Jimmy Lake, he gave me a lot of, he's very smart DB coach. Some people say college and league, like he's been in the league, he's coached players in the league, so everything we did in college was league type of calls, league type of defense. So I gave him a lot of praise because he's just getting DBs out every single year. He's getting DBs out. So I'm very excited to see how he does, how he keeps going up and up at Washington. So, yeah.
They say if you want to know about the offense, then ask about the defense. Yeah. As far as this offense and what you've seen, because it's been the big buzz, big talk about Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. What have you seen that might be a little bit different or eye-opening from years past?
For me, honestly, I've seen that, Kyler Murray's a real deal. He's as real as advertised. I'm very excited to see him play, and going against him in practice, he makes throws that, a rookie shouldn't make. So we're very excited. Definitely he's going to get better every single day, and I'm excited to see what he can do for us.
All right, let's get you out on a couple of notes. We need confirmation here. 40 yards of gold. Your name has been advertised along with Demir Bird. Is this something that's going to happen?
Not for me. Not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's just strictly a rumor that just your name got attached to?
I was going to do it, but ultimately I'm thinking, I'm probably not going to do it this year. So, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to have any injuries.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want any type of injuries.
Hamstring grown. You've been working so hard, and I'm sure you're going to work hard before we get to camp. They need you this year.
Exactly. Last time I ran a 40 was the combine, so
yeah, those days are over.
Those days are over for me.
All right, then let's end on a happy note, because this off season you did something special for your mom.
Yeah.
Can you explain to our viewers out there what you did, surprising her this off season?
Yeah. So I went back home and was chilling with my mom, and I was telling her she doesn't need a car yet because my mom, I feel like, can't drive. But I always tell her she doesn't need a car, and she's like, all right, fine. But I told her this a few days back before I already bought the car. So I told her next year I'll buy you a car. But knowing next 2 days she's going to have a car. So I got her a nice little Mercedes and just had it in front of the house with a bow on it. And then I had her come outside and, surprise her. So that was very special to me. And she's treating the car right. So we're good right now.
Honestly, we know the history with your mom. Obviously, she's gone through some medical stuff, but it's going to be a dream come true knowing that you made it.
Yeah.
And you were able to take care of her.
Yeah, exactly. Just like you said, it's a dream come true for me. I knew I wanted to get her a car, but the biggest goal is to get her a house. And, I want to get her a very nice house, so I'm just going to wait a few years and see what happens.
Budda, it's a great job not only on the field but off the field as well. Appreciate a couple of minutes and best of luck this season.
Thank you, guys.
Really enjoyed our conversation late last week with Budda Baker, a tremendous person first and foremost and player as well. And with regards to that 40 yards of gold, and we talked about it late last week or 2 weeks ago on these number of NFL players who have been attached to this, and Budda Baker was one of them, and now he's no longer attached to it. Damiere Byrd, I had a chance to talk to in the locker room briefly. He's another one, the Cardinals wide receiver. He says he's on the fence. Not quite sure. Depends on how he feels following minicamp. And we had that conversation as far as, it's the end of minicamp, right before training camp, and here you are at the end of June asked to run 40 yards. He said, though, he needed maybe 2 or 3 days to train, and then he could run a 4.2.
4.2?
That's what he said.
Well, hey, you can't teach speed.
That's true.
Now, I wonder if anybody's going to show up. Because if I'm an NFL team, yes, they have stipulations in your contract, and I don't know if the 40-yard dash is in there. And like Budda said, the last time he ran it was at the Combine, and that probably should be for everyone's career. But, I don't know if anybody's going to show up. Ted Ginn's going to be running against about 3 other guys.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But, 40 yards of gold, we'll keep an eye on that here on this Monday edition of Cards Covered 2 as we broadcast from the Dignity Health Arizona Cardinals Training Center. Doing so in our Bose QC35s. Go to Bose.com for more information. And with that, how about we hear from the Bird Gang as they sound off on this Monday using the hashtag Cards Covered 2. Hashtag Cards Covered 2. Your questions via social media. We'll begin with Instagram. User @Derek_Hanlon wants to know, do you think Vance Joseph's defense will blitz more than Wilkes' defense?
Yes, but it's predicated on them stopping the run and getting the quarterback off the spot. But yeah, with Chandler Jones, Terrell Suggs, you throw in Brooks Reed. Yes, I do think, and Zach Allen's going to get a chance, even though he's listed as a defensive end, he's going to get a chance to rush the passer. So yes, I would think, they've really focused on first down. It's not like you're going to pull this off on third down. They want to get these teams in passing situations, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 8, and then obviously try to get them off the field. But I do think they'll be more aggressive just based on the personnel they have right now.
And remember that you got 3 known rushers and then a 4th or a 5th as far as the outside linebacker, but it's the not knowing because no longer is a 4th or 5th guy with a hand in the dirt like we saw last year.
Exactly, and this team should have played a 3-4. We obviously discussed that throughout the season, but again, stop the run, put pressure on the quarterback, get him out 3 and out.
Another question concerning the defense. Instagram user @HalHutton wants to know, what have you seen from Jordan Hicks as a leader during OTA practices?
Everything, we only watched the first 20 minutes. It's more stretching and individual drills. Everything you hear, according to Vance Joseph on the Chronicle podcast with Paul and Lisa, he's going to wear the green sticker. If you're not familiar with that, that means he's going to be the quarterback on defense. It looks like him and Hassan Reddick are on the same page. They probably can finish each other's sentences, and that's remarkable considering that Reddick's played a couple different positions and Hicks just signed as a free agent. So they're counting on him. And again, there's 2 guys that they really committed to on defense, Robert Alford, a 3-year contract, and Jordan Hicks. And, Hicks, as long as he can stay healthy, he put up big numbers in Philadelphia. So I think they're really excited about that signing.
Let's continue Bird Gang sound off here using the hashtag Cards Covered 2 from Twitter. User @Cardinals_31 wants to know, how has Hakeem Butler looked so far in OTAs? And then added, he's the receiver I'm most excited to watch, but haven't seen much news about him.
Yeah, I think he's done everything he's asked to do. Obviously, having fits with them, but I think that if I had to guess right now, if I had to rank them, I would think Butler would be 4. I think he's after Fitz, Kirk, and Andy Isabella, but he's got a little bit different skill set than Isabella and Kirk, where the 50-50 balls, the wingspan, tracking the ball while it's in the air and making these unbelievable catches. Now he's got to focus on catching the football. That was a knock on him coming out of college, but that happens over time. And again, you're not going to get any better coaching from a guy like Jerry Sullivan.
At 6'5", a big target, and he makes those unbelievable catches. It was the simple catches in college that he struggled with, or at least what people consider simple when you don't have a guy draped all over you.
Yeah, and he mentioned it probably was a lack of focus or concentration. And at this level, you have to have that every single down. When you break that huddle, you got to say, I'm going to win my one-on-one matchup, and if they happen to throw the ball to me, I have to catch it.
Twitter user Jill Salmon wants to know, in the limited time you've been able to watch OTAs, who has caught your eye so far?
Well, I mean, we're able to ask questions to the coach after practice. I think David Amerson, who knows if he's going to be the starter. I think he's in the mix with Patrick being out 6 weeks. I think Chris Jones, we haven't talked about him enough. Dennis Gardeck, he made the team last year on special teams. He's fighting for some more reps on defense. I think you can see he's hit the weight room in the offseason here. I think they're encouraged with Justin Pugh, the way he's come back from the injury, and J.R. Sweezy, DJ Humphries, Marcus Gilbert. So a lot of encouraging things here, but it's hard to gauge when they're in helmets and shorts.
Yeah, and the only thing that I would add to that is just some of the drills we're seeing, specifically on the defensive side and the defensive line. A lot of work on footwork and quickness to try to get off the ball as quick as possible. But it's just the footwork and the different, as far as running around a hoop, you're going up against a tackling dummy. But a lot about just bursts of speed and trying to get past the guy in front of you as quickly as you can.
Yeah, I remember the first rookie minicamp that we were out there, and we were able to watch the first 20 minutes. And Chris Akoff, who the Cardinals retained from the Wilkes staff, and I thought he was a really good D-line coach last year. It's pad level, it's explosion, making sure you don't get too high up because you're driving into the offensive lineman, and if you don't have the great leverage and explosion, they can just throw you to the side like a ragdoll. So I really like some of those drills that they're able to show us, but I think Chris Akoff has been an upgrade at the D-line coaching position.
Last question from Twitter user at MBS365. I think we all remember the Bruce Arians quote from All or Nothing about one goal in every successful season, and that was concerning the Super Bowl. But what would constitute success this season? And they added, I'm hoping 8-8.
I think we'd all sign up for that. I'm sure the players in the locker room feel differently. They think they can be one of those teams worst to first. They're the only ones can kind of control that. But be competitive, continue to show progress, develop Kyler Murray for the future, and then obviously, Cliff Kingsbury being a first-time head coach. So I don't want to put the expectations too high, but they definitely have to show improvement, be competitive, and show progress throughout the course of the year.
Appreciate all of Bird Gang sounding off here on this Monday using the hashtag CardsCovered2, hashtag CardsCovered2. We'll do it again on Wednesday's show. Keep those questions coming. I know a lot of people want answers or questioning about what we're seeing or about these new faces, and a lot of it is just, we don't know because only 20 minutes is open. But with regards to a successful season, I mean, it can only go up from a year ago. But as you're pointed out, it's improvement, being competitive
week to week,
and not have these major swings or these deep lulls and dig yourself a huge hole that you just can't get out of.
Yeah, because when Bradford was benched and they brought in Josh Rosen, we were saying, we want to see this guy make progress, and there were flashes. I mean, you got to give him credit. That 75-yard pass to Kirk, and then going on the road to beat the Packers, which when the schedule came out, we thought that's going to be a daunting game. And so, I mean, it's possible, but for the most part, though, we got to see progress from Murray. We don't want to have this conversation, he's a rookie quarterback, but they're starting a veteran offensive lineman. You want to see progress. You don't want to see him take a step back, because next year at this time, I think we'll be just as excited of what he accomplished in his first year.
Absolutely. And then, of course, who knows? Maybe we all get surprised, and he surprises.
It's the NFL. Anything can happen. I mean, I know when the schedule came out, we just gave him a big L going to Green Bay. Now, they had some distractions with the head coach and the quarterback, but give Rosen credit. They went on the road and played in inclement weather, and they got the victory. We just need to have more close games, and to me, the NFL, kind of like the NBA, usually comes down to the last 5 or 6 minutes. And, you just want to keep it within striking distance, and that means special teams is going to play a key role this year, including Zane Gonzalez.
OTAs continue the rest of this week through Thursday. We'll keep an eye on that as well here on Cards Cover 2. And with that, we'll sign off until Wednesday's show. Special thanks to those behind the scenes: Tim Delaney, Jim Omahundro, Devin Henry, Jackson Sipes, my partner Mike Jurecki. And we'll throw a shout out to Adrian Wilson as well. I'm Craig Grialou. Appreciate everyone's involvement and watching out there. We'll talk to you on Wednesday here on Cards Cover 2.